60,000 people with spay and neuters. So I feel like I know something about doing young animals. I've owned those animals. I've done over 165,000 surgeries. And I've done surgeries in about 36 countries in every kind of condition you can think of. So I feel pretty qualified about talking about spay and neuter in general. So the idea is fix them by 5 months of age, and if you do that, you basically stop all reproduction. If you wait till 5.5, 6 months for cats, they already have litters, depending on the time of year. So that's a big thing. In my own practice, I don't tend to fix animals till 5 months to 6 months where they've come to me, they've been vaccinated, they've been dewormed, all those kind of things. There's 3 things you worry about with small animals, and you'll learn this in surgery class at some point, but hypoglycemia, hypothermia, and hypotension. And when you prep an animal, you don't soak them down with whatever you clean them with, because they're really small, they have very large surface area, their temperature will drop really fast, especially if you're in a cool environment. So hypothermia is the biggest thing. With puppies and kittens, you don't have to hold them off food overnight. 4 hours, and kittens about 2 hours we hold them off, so not very long, but they have a higher metabolic rate. So they take a little bit more anesthesia per pound or per kilogram, but in the end, they take a lot less of everything. I mean, those are really fast surgeries. And like I say, I do think it's interesting, consistently around the world, poor people, about 75%, 3 out of 4 people that are poor or lower income, their animals never see a veterinarian. That is directly related to money, nothing else, okay? And I understand that. If you have 3 kids and you live in a dirt floor house, you're probably not going to take your dog down to get a spayed and neutered. Some of the lowest education levels, some of the highest poverty levels. They have what? They have the highest euthanasia levels, and they have the shortest life expectancy, not only for humans, but for animals. Now you go to states like Colorado, where we have a very high education level. Overall average income is higher. Our animals live longer, and they're healthier. There's a big surprise. If you have money, you get to live well. If you don't have money, you don't live so well. And guess what? Poor people have kids, and they have animals. And as veterinarians, we have an obligation to those poor people every bit as much as to the rich people. A dog given up, or an animal going to a shelter, is about 18 months. So that kind of correlates with some older animals averaging out with the young puppies that are given up. Why are puppies given up? Behavior. Well, what kind of behavior? They pee around the house, they start biting, they get aggressive. That most of the animals that go in the shelters are not fixed. About 80%, 90%, depending on what shelter, okay, are not fixed. The number 1 reason for giving up an animal to a shelter is behavior. Veterinarians learn nothing about behavior for the most part. It's important for us to know, I get this from vets, well, if we do all this spay neuter, you'll put us out of business. It's like, seriously? I don't think it's ever going to be a problem. There's always something to do. I personally wish I didn't have to do spay neuter. I prefer suffering in the world that animals have to go through. And by the way, that's connected to humans too, because those animals also have an impact on humans in terms of zoonotic diseases, bites, and rabies, and things like that. If you really want to make a difference, spay and neuter your brains out, because that